Okay, we are ready to begin our math lesson for today. Please join me on Seesaw. Please click Activities, Assign to Class folder, and blue folder for math. We are working in our blue math folder today. Our task is called Reading a Graph. Go ahead and open our task. And please wait on slide number 1. Slide number 1 says, with your teacher. Today we're going to start by looking at an example of a graph, and then we're going to do some quick practicing, reading graphs and analyzing the data using our knowledge of title, categories, and the scale. Remember, the scale is how we count to read the graph. Sometimes the scale can be 1 and you count by ones, but most of the time in 3rd grade, the scale will be something different, like 2 or 5, or sometimes you might see a graph that counts by 50s, something crazy like that. So today we're going to talk more about the scale and how it helps us understand the data. Click on slide number 2, please. I should see all screens focused on our slide number 2. Here we have an example of a picture graph or a pictograph right over here in the right. I want you to circle the title. Circle the title right now. Good. You should have circled play tickets. This graph is describing people who bought tickets to go see a play. Now I want you to identify how many categories we have in this picture graph. How many categories do we have in this picture graph? Show me on your camera by holding up your hand. Show me on your hand, how many categories does this graph have? I'm going to give that direction again. I see friends who are checking out, not following directions. In your camera, show me with your hand, how many categories does this graph have? Okay, I see a couple friends that are still not sure about categories. Our title tells us what the data is about. Our categories help us organize the data. In this example, there are 3 categories. Brandon is somebody who bought play tickets. Haley is somebody who bought play tickets, not our Haley. This is a different Haley. And Elizabeth is somebody who bought tickets. There are 3 categories of information. All of them bought tickets to go see a play, but our graph is broken down into 3 categories. It is important that you know this word categories and that you can identify it on a graph. That's really important for us to do, so you know how the data is organized. Next, we have our scale. If there is a key at the bottom, that means our scale is not counting by ones. Our scale tells us that this graph uses a picture of a ticket, and that is equivalent to 2 tickets. Each ticket is worth 2 tickets on this graph representation. Let's go ahead and work through these problems together. Let's start down at the bottom and answer some of these questions that I have put a box around. Number 1, what is the scale? Our scale is counting by 2s. Our key tells us they're counting by 2s. Each picture means 2 tickets. So you need to fill in on slide number 2, What is the scale? The scale is 2. If the scale is 2, that means we're going to be skip counting by 2s. Let's practice skip counting by 2s right now, starting at 0. Ready? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I should hear more people counting with me. Let's go all the way up to 20.
13, 16, 8.
I'm hearing friends that are taking away from our learning time.
20.
Let's start at 0 and let's go all the way up to 20. Skip counting by 2s. Ready? Start at 0. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and stop. Go ahead and fill in where it says number 2, skip count. Let's count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. When you see the scale, you should be able to skip count to help you read a graph. Go ahead and fill in your skip counting on slide number 2. Part. Number 3 says highlight the question to answer. So I'm going to highlight our question. Over here, our question says, how many tickets in all did Brandon and Haley sell? So now I'm going to look at my graph to help me answer this question up at the top. First of all, I need to identify Brandon and Haley on the graph. Here's Brandon and here's Haley on the graph. Our question says, how many tickets in all? These words are some clue words that help you know which operation to use. If we have Brandon's tickets and Haley's tickets, so here we've got Brandon's tickets, Haley's tickets. In all means we're going to combine them. Brandon's tickets plus Haley's tickets in all together. How many tickets did they sell? First of all, let's look at Brandon. I noticed 4 pictures, 4 symbols for Brandon, but I know he didn't just sell 4 tickets because my scale tells me I'm counting by 2s. So for Brandon, I'm going to count by 2s to determine how many tickets he sold. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Brandon sold 8 tickets. So I can fill in my information and say Brandon sold 8 tickets. Next, we have Haley. Look at Haley on the graph. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pictures for her, but I know we're not counting by 1s. I know our scale says we're counting by 2s. So we can skip count by 2 to get all the way up to how many Haley sold. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Haley sold 14 tickets. So I can fill it in for Haley. You need to be doing the same now. Our question says, how many tickets in all did Brandon and Haley sell? So we can combine them to see how many in all. 14 plus 8, you can write the sum. Go ahead and finish it on your own. Write the sum to show how many tickets in all Brandon and Haley sold. Great work. Our next skill is going to be, our next task, excuse me, is going to be working on a quiz together. On slide number 3, it says quiz time. I'm going to send you a link right now to our quiz. And together we're going to use our knowledge of scales to answer questions. Before we get the link, I need students to get out their whiteboard and marker so that you have something to write on as we analyze these graphs. Get out your whiteboard and marker. If you don't have that, you can use paper and pencil, and then I will send you the link. Task. We have practiced together and talked about different types of quizzes using scale, different types of graphs using scale. Today, your independent work starts on slide number 4. Sit down, please. I'm making a video. Thank you. Today, you have a bar graph that you are going to read, analyze, and answer questions. Just like we did during quizzes, you need to be careful that you are looking for the scale for each graph. Let's look at number 5 together. Slide number 5 shows us a graph, and look all the way to the left at the numbers to see the scale. I notice it starts at 0, then there's a line, then it goes to 4. I notice then there's a line, then it goes to 8. So this is tricky. You might look at it and think the scale is 4, that they're counting from 0 to 4, but that is not correct because of these lines. Our scale is counting by 2. It goes from 0 to 2, then 4, then 6, 8. Oh, this is incorrect. Here, boys and girls, let's correct this together. Okay, using your, let's use red. Get your red marker and let's make sure the scale is correct so nobody gets confused. Start with 0 and we're going to write 2 on the first line. 4 is written for us. 6 on our next line. Then 8. 10 on our next line. And then the 10 that I wrote was incorrect. I apologize about that, boys and girls. Change this one to 12. This one's 14. And this one is 16. Go ahead and change that scale. And today you're just going to use this graph to answer some questions. Do the best you can to see if you are adding or subtracting. Type your answer below and show me what you have learned about analyzing graphs today. Easy peasy is our work today. You just have 5 slides to show what you know. I will be on at 12:45 for anyone who has questions about their task. We're now going to head to lunch and recess. And then this afternoon, it is your work time to finish these math slides. When you are done copying the new scale, you're welcome to hop off Zoom. And I will see you later at 12:45 if you have questions.